Hej, z tej strony GROnostaj, a dzisiaj znowu gramy w Dinkum. Prawdopodobnie jest to ostatni odcinek, jeżeli wszystko wyjdzie tak, jak sobie zaplanowałem. Mam nadzieję, że już dzisiaj grę tę skończymy. Mamy więcej nowych tekstów.
I suppose you've met with our murder victim, Richard Remington.
Yes, I've been in and out of this place for a while now. Naturally, I've crossed paths with Remington a number of times. Good value, that one. A real raconteur, you know.
You liked him? So far, I'm getting the impression he wasn't the most popular guy around here.
Well, that much is clear, isn't it? The man obviously slipped up somewhere, made an enemy or two, and bam, that's that. You just can't be too careful, can you?
Yeah, I think he did have an enemy or two. Or three. But you liked him.
I respected him. Good head on his shoulders. Good business sense, that man. He understood how to make things work for him.
Czyli on go po prostu szanował, ani go nie lubił, ani go...
You won't be getting very far.
ani
If you
nic.
want an autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you.
Jezus Maria.
I don't really have time to be looking. You won't be getting... If you want an autograph... I don't... You won't be getting... If you want an autograph... I don't really have time... You won't be... If you want an autograph... I don't really...
Tak, bez sensu, ale... przeszukuję wszystko.
I don't really have...
W ogóle mamy już wszystko.
I don't know. I'll film it...
A! Tutaj jeszcze raz.
I don't know if it's any use to you at all. I'll film again tonight and try to get a version without all those bizarre noises in the background.
One są chyba dla nas ważne, by się zdało.
You won't be getting... If you want to...
Dobrze. Nie! Challenge complete.
This area is kind of empty.
Teraz z tobą gadamy.
You saw Remington last night, but had you met him before? Did you know him?
I've never really spoken with him, but we've come into contact a few times. Vincent likes to handle that kind of work, and I like to let him.
What do you think of this place? The tourist attraction, I mean.
I can't say I like the idea of a natural area like this becoming commercialized.
I know. I just can't understand why anyone would even try.
I think Mr. Remington had his reasons. He looked like a man with a couple of secrets.
Like what?
I have no idea. If I knew, they wouldn't be secrets.
A ja wiem, co to są za secrets. Chodzi tutaj wszystko o to, że on był tutaj polowaczem, ale do tego już doszliśmy w poprzednim odcinku, który na pewno widzieliście go, prawda? Tak. Wchodzimy do środka.
So,
Boggy costume.
These designs for a boggy costume.
oh, some ridiculous new merchandise for tourists to waste their money on.
No, I believe the murderer was dressed like this last night when they attacked Remington.
If they were trying to scare him out of the swamp, they should have spent more time making an accurate design.
What do you mean?
Well, this design is some bizarre hybrid between the real creature and the cartoon character. It simply hasn't been researched properly.
What's wrong with it?
Well, those flippers? Pure guesswork. Nothing but foolish imagination. Nobody knows what Boggy's feet look like. No footprint has ever been recorded.
So tell me, especially,
Bzdura, my znaleźliśmy ślady. Zaraz mu je pokażemy zresztą.
how would you do a better job researching it if nothing has ever been recorded?
Oh, well, that's, you know, I mean, it's all a matter of taking the time to... It's just that... But there's no way anyone would believe... Nothing but foolishness.
On nie umie za bardzo się wysławiać, masz tu to.
Is that the missing page of the
Tak.
journal?
I think so.
It's an important artifact. It belongs in a museum.
Yeah, you're not wearing the right hat to be saying that.
No właśnie.
What can you tell me about your relationship with Richard Remington?
We didn't really have one, and now we definitely don't have one. But look, all I can say is that he was a coward who enjoyed watering down history for his own benefit.
What does that mean?
It means there are some chapters of this swamp's history that he never wanted anyone to know about.
Did he like you sniffing around this museum all the time?
I don't think he knew, to be honest. And even if he did, there's nothing he could have done about it. He has no right to this building. He knows that. We both know that.
Why not? It was part of his tourist attraction, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Uuu. Może to było miejsce, gdzie spotykali się członkowie naszego tajnego stowarzyszenia, prawda? No, taki kolejny pomysł mi wpadł. O, dziewczynka.
Aha! The great detective returns. Did you run out of ideas? Need a little push in the right direction?
Nie.
You're the one who needs a little push.
Like it or not, I'm here to help you.
I get it. You give me a map, then you magically disappear and hide behind a tree for an hour. You want me to be impressed?
Did you talk to all the suspects yet?
I'm working on it. You can't rush these things, you know?
Have you noticed anything unusual?
I notice that this is going to take longer than I originally planned, and I'm getting the feeling that I wasn't wrong about this tourist attraction.
What do you mean?
I had a hard time believing there could be a place like this here in the dark corner of a swamp. It didn't make sense, and it still doesn't.
Some things don't make sense straight away. You need to look a little closer.
At what? The mud? The water? The trees?
Nope. They've been here for years, and they're not to blame. They belong here.
She's gone again. Hiding in a bush, no doubt. I wonder if she'll ever tell me something I can actually understand.
Myślę, że ona mówi nam naprawdę mądre rzeczy, tylko ty jesteś niemądry. Grimoir. Teraz wchodzimy tutaj. Wiedźma.
You've been here so long, you must have crossed paths with Remington a few times. What did you think of him?
That man was a threat to the swamp. We'll be better off without him. Hopefully the curtain will fall on his little tourist attraction as well.
Better off? With a killer on the loose now?
There have been murderers loose in the swamp before.
What are you talking about?
In my time here, I've seen the swamp invaded by men. By hunters.
No właśnie.
Several times. They're relentless.
What were they hunting? Wait, what about Boggy? Is that why no one has seen him in 60 years?
They always fell short of their ultimate goal.
O,
That just meant they came back again and again, doing more harm each time.
But this area is protected by law, right?
It is now, but some men have no respect for laws, of any kind. They tried to get me to leave my home here. I stood my ground.
Obviously. But this whole area is a tourist attraction now. I doubt Remington would have allowed anyone to march into Boggy's bog with a gun and start hunting down his main attraction.
a sobie by nie pozwolił. Oczywiście, żeby sobie pozwolił. Bo on jest mądry. Znaczy, on jest właśnie zły, a nie mądry. On jest nie mądry. Gadamy z dziadkiem.
You said you knew Remington?
He and I knew each other for a long time. I came to work at his tourist attraction in the early days, when he needed help.
Well, what kept you here?
I know most people wouldn't want to work in a place like this. I actually like it here, so I was happy to oblige.
You might like it, but I still don't see why anyone would build a tourist attraction here.
Mr. Remington has his reasons. He probably had several. I don't presume to know what they all were. Even though we were friends, he had some secrets, some hobbies, that I was happy to let him keep secret.
Secrets? Hobbies? A secret hobby?
He was a man with a dream. I can tell you that much.
No oczywiście, że on po prostu chciał upolować Boggy'ego. Sally!
So what can you tell me about your relationship with Richard Remington?
I didn't have one. I think I spoke to him twice, ever. He usually seemed really busy, but more like preoccupied.
Preoccupied? Like he was thinking about something else? Something that wasn't this tourist attraction?
Who can say? What do old men think about?
What? Are you implying that I know the answer to that?
No, chyba znamy. Czemu nie możemy?
Yeah, I have a pretty good view of him from here. Anyone supporting animal rights is okay in my book. His protests used to have a bit more energy, though. He spends more time inside his tent these days.
What's he doing in there?
I'm happy to say, I don't know.
There might be something I can ask Echo about.
Okej, coś tutaj wymyślę.
Echo spends less time holding the protest sign and more time in his tent. I wonder if Echo can tell me what he's been doing that's more important than his protest.
No też się zastanawiam. Odblokował nam się dla Echo.
Is that one of your clues?
Tutaj
I
jeszcze
have no.
więcej pogadam.
Where are you keep?
Czyli tutaj...
They're mine, but I left them here last night. Now they're covered in slime, and I don't want to go near them.
Dobrze. Na razie nie mamy od niej tutaj challenge'u.
You again. Ready with some cryptic advice, no doubt?
Don't let them take him.
Who? The murderer? That's my job. I gotta make sure that they...
No, the creature. Don't take him away. This place is his home.
Oh, Boggy. Hey, don't worry. I didn't really believe he could be, responsible for this mess.
You didn't?
Well, no.
Mainly because I didn't... Myślę, że tak. Chcemy ją... Możemy ją pocieszyć.
I don't believe he could ever hurt anyone.
So, he won't get in trouble? You won't have to leave?
Well, he's been out here for what, 60 years, hasn't he? And stayed out of trouble for that long. I have a feeling some detective isn't going to change all that in one day.
Well, in that case, he says... Thank you.
Co jeżeli to jest Boggy? Jezu, to jest szalone. Nie mam pojęcia, co się stało, ale dostałem achievementa. Zobaczmy. Echo.
So, what did Mr. Remington think of you? I mean, protesting in the middle of a swamp every day.
It wasn't his swamp. If he ever truly thought it was, then he was even more of a fool than he seemed.
But he didn't like you hanging around, right?
That man was exceptionally skilled at ignoring me, ignoring anything he didn't like.
So, what, he just left you alone?
He expected me to get bored and go home. He figured I'd get sick of this place and he'd have it back to himself.
But he didn't want it to himself, did he? He wanted lots of people to come visit all the time, surely.
I'm sure it says that in the brochure. Yes.
Dobra, robimy challenge.
I heard you've been spending less time protesting recently and more time, in your tent. Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to
I'm
ask...
touched people have even noticed something like that. I usually get the impression everyone else is doing their best to ignore me.
So, you admit it's true?
You can put your notebook away. There isn't really any reason for it. Nothing worth writing down, at least.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? Maybe it would echo in my mind.
Look, if you take a guess and get it right, I promise not to deny it.
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away in his tent. Notebook time.
I have a silly nickname. Ta, na pewno. Nie chodzi o ducha, no bądźmy szczerzy. Podatki... Pogoda? Znaczy ogólnie to jest nawiązanie do Haunted House, czyli inna gra tych twórców, którą mam już nagraną, ale jeszcze jej nie wrzuciłem na YouTube. Boggy? Czy on się boi Boggy'ego? Może czyta komiksy z Boggym? Podatki? A może pogoda? Is?
You've been in your tent because it's been raining!
Why not?
Czemu dostałem achievement? Czemu dostałem achievement za narysowanie ducha, skoro narysowałem nie ducha, tylko poducha? Znaczy deszcz.
No thanks, my friend.
No to jest strzelba, nie powinno cię to interesować?
What?
You're not a bad detective.
Well, I found the photo in Remington's office. It was ripped up, though. I think he was some kind
He
of...
was a lot of things. Don't lose that picture.
To evidence.
And show it to Mr. Harper before you leave.
Dobrze, zaraz to zrobimy.
Why are you carrying that?
I have a suspicion it may have been the murder weapon.
Really? I thought Remington was attacked by something with claws, wasn't he?
Nie, nie był, mój drogi przyjacielu.
I'm afraid I...
Dobrze. Znaczy jeszcze możemy spróbować na przykład jakąś tutaj inną opcję, ale...
Well, it was not...
In that...
Howdy.
Może faktycznie Boggy'ego.
You've been in your tent, hiding from Boggy.
Why not?
Czekajcie, on na wszystko odpowiada, why not? To może...
So...
Dobra, to teraz narysujemy tax.
Let's work out why... Notebook
Tak, tak, tak. Tax.
You've been hiding in your tent from the taxman.
Why not?
Nie rozumiem, o co mu chodzi, ale kto to był Mr. Harper? To był? Dobrze, idziemy do pana Harpera. Panie Harper?
One of Mr. Remington's secrets. I never wanted to know the details, but these men travel the world, seeking mysterious animals to hunt. They consider myths and legends to be the ultimate prey.
No właśnie.
Why don't you show
Pokażemy wszystkim wszystko.
He usually keeps it around. For whatever reason. He was very fond of that thing. Looks like it was fired recently.
No właśnie. On tutaj chciał upolować Boggy'ego. Jak tylko by go zobaczył, to...
Can't help it. It's Mr. Remington's fireplace poker. This slime on the handle. It's familiar for some reason.
To z twojego soczku.
Why don't you show that?
Więc nic dziwnego, że...
Fabric from Mr. Remington's curtains.
Tak, wiem. To już wiemy.
You don't know everything, I'm afraid.
Pokazujemy wszystkim wszystko,
Can't help you with that.
żeby być pewnym,
Don't you show that to...
że niczego nie przeoczymy.
You don't know. He's dead. He always knew what he was getting involved with.
Ach,
I don't know very much about them. It's here a lot. I think he's been putting less effort into his protests recently, which is a shame. I think it's an admirable cause.
Do you talk to him much?
Not really. Sometimes he likes to talk, just casual conversation. He asks how business is going and what everyone likes to eat, nothing of real importance.
co? Nie podoba mi się ten echo. Czemu on pyta, dlaczego wszyscy lubią jeść? On chyba chce tu wszystkich wymordować.
You have a lot of suspects.
Tak, mam bardzo dużo na
I
liście.
don't know what to...
Tak, tak.
You're prime suspect, am I correct?
Well, technically, but I'm not even sure he's real.
Don't worry about that. Real or not, the creature's the most important part of this mystery.
Which one? The cartoon character or the real creature?
Exactly.
A. Dobrze, tutaj przepytaliśmy go z wszystkiego. Nie mamy jeszcze challenge'u od naszej Sally.
It's
So
a humble... Boggy. It's a framed... Well, it's a photo... A Boggy? A Boggy? Boggy. It's a... It's
No nie umiem tego kliknąć. Czemu? Z kim jeszcze nie pogadaliśmy? Tutaj dawno nas nie było, prawda? O.
Ah, try and solve every suspect's challenge topic. If you're struggling, don't forget to present profiles and clues to people who might be interested. Oh, and hurry up. It's cold in this boat.
No, chcę zrobić z wszystkimi challenge, ale się nie umie odblokować od sali. A, nie chciałem tu iść. Przepraszam. Wracamy. Zobaczmy, jak to tutaj wygląda naszych podejrzanych. Talk to other. Dobrze. Czy tutaj już wszystko pokazaliśmy mu? Tak. Tak, wszystko tu już mamy. Ciężko. Czy tutaj mamy wszystko? Nie. Tak.
That's great.
No. Przegadałem z nimi wszystko. A oni dalej nic. Tutaj już wszystko widzieliśmy, prawda?
The open window looks over the wooden planks outside. Oh, and on one side, a part of the curtain has been ripped off.
O Jezu, czemu nic tu nigdzie?
Hunting memorabilia. It would
O, basz. Problem jest, ponieważ... Patrzcie. Jeżeli chodzi o wszystkie clues, to 2 nie znalazłem. O kurczę. Ciekawe, gdzie możemy je odnaleźć. To specyficzne. No byliśmy już wszędzie, theoretically. Clearing. Dobra, zobaczmy, gdzie... Nie, wszystko jeszcze mamy. Next. Swamp Dog. No clues. Tutaj Crossroad jeszcze nie wszystko mamy. Forest, Protest jeszcze nie wszystko mamy. Okej, jeszcze nie wszędzie wszystko mamy. No dobra, wróćmy. W takim razie wróćmy. Jeszcze bardziej wróćmy.
These flower petals seem a little... It looks like this path. A rather prominent tree stump looming over the wooden pathway. It's hard to ignore. A rather prominent... I'm impressed someone...
Wow, tu coś było.
It's a colorful, bonky piece. It should open if I...
Okej, skąd mamy znać? Number. Czekajcie. Zobaczmy. Czy mamy jakąś wskazówkę, która nam mogłaby nam z tym tutaj pokazać? Dobra, zobaczmy może tutaj naszego Iko. A czy to nam się tutaj dodało do tego? Spytamy go. Nie mamy. Ciężkie. Ale jeszcze coś jest na tym protest. Znaczy to może jest tam w środku w sumie. No, możemy zobaczyć sobie, spróbować. Sparkly hint icon. Aha, czyli tutaj już to nam pokazuje, że nic się nie świeci, więc tu nic nowego już nie ma. O, tutaj.
There's a hollow part of the tree, right at the front, but it's too dark to see inside.
Dobrze. W gift shop jeszcze coś jest. Gdzie tutaj? Nic się już nie błyszczy. A jednak podobno coś tutaj mamy.
It's a humble...
Ciekawe. Zobaczmy dalej. W kafej też coś jest teoretycznie. Robię sobie znowu kolejną próbkę, żeby przebadywać rzeczy. Ciężko jest, mimo wszystko. No było. Mamy coś jeszcze z cieczą? Mamy. Dobra. Wszystko to jest ten soczek. Tak, wiem, co się tutaj robi. Naprawdę. No. Tak. No dobra. Prove that. Have magic power. The swamp slime.
The Weybridge's cauldron
To
is
niedobrze.
proof that the black leggings are covered in the same swamp slime. What is that supposed to mean?
No dobra, może tak. Dobrze.
The crime scene and the black leggings are covered in the same swamp slime. Sally's leggings. They link her with the crime scene.
Dobrze, będziemy mieli
No, thank you.
Będziemy mieli ostatnią challenge.
Didn't I some of those men? Unfortunately.
Hunters.
Hunted in the swamp before.
Before it became a protected area?
Before that, yes. And one of them after that.
Kto after that? No oczywiście nasz tutaj Remington.
You bring me something. You can put that away.
No, czyli raczej nie sprawdza się teoria, że to jest ten sam materiał, co dała
No, thank you.
mu lata temu. Ale nie wiadomo. Dobrze, idziemy do naszej sali.
The black leggings you found in your bag this morning. They're covered in the same slime that was on the murder weapon.
Everything in this swamp is covered in slime. What's your angle, Grimoire?
Your black leggings were part of the murderer's costume.
Costume? Is that why someone took them out of my bag last night?
Well, you know, I don't have proof someone else took them.
If I had been wearing them when I committed a crime, do you think I would hand them over to a detective the second he shows up? Besides, look at them. What do you notice?
They're loose and stretched.
That's right, someone else. Someone larger than me has worn these. They're stretched out, especially at the waist. It's pretty obvious.
So, let's see. Somebody stole them to use in their Boggy costume, and then put them back in your bag when they were done?
If you say so. It's not my job to know all the details. It's my job to sell souvenirs. Do you want a souvenir?
Oh, my, yes, but only if you choose one for me.
You look like you could use something to wind up. You can take this one.
Okej. Czy tu będzie kod? Boggy's feet are a small plastic toy sold at the gift shop has the cartoony appearance of Boggy. Boggy's feet are hidden in the bucket of water. I coś jeszcze.
I
Pokażmy.
always thought it was weird that his feet are in that little bucket all the time.
It's just part of the character, I guess. I'm surprised they don't sell some sort of boggy foot soaker.
And that would be the one product I'd consider buying.
Dobrze. To teraz możemy...
I think it's time I went to talk to Officer James.
Chapter 4. Jeszcze przejdziemy się po całej lokacji. Pokażemy wszystkim tą rzecz.
You don't know everything, I'm afraid.
Dobrze. Żeby nic nie przeoczyć. Żeby gdzieś się też nie pojawiła nasza mała dziewczynka. Pokażę ci to.
You can put that away.
Nie. Dobrze. Dobra. Idziemy dalej. Skończymy dziś tą grę. Mam nadzieję. Masz tu. Ty lubisz. O, tu się... Back.
Let's see here. This journal belonged to the explorer, who first discovered boggy in this swamp 60 years ago.
Okej, no i to było ważne. Present the clue. O, tutaj nie wszystko pokazaliśmy.
Good example of how Boggy's feet are never shown in any form. They often use that little red bucket to hide them. I've never seen that. I have no interest in. You're wasting your I've never seen that before. I have no interest in. You're wasting your. So, you found it. I wonder who else knows about it. Well, this design is some bizarre hybrid between...
Aha, to było. Ale wszystkim nie podoba się. Nie podoba się to zdjęcie. Dobra. Idziemy dalej. Myślałem, że tam wejdziemy. Mam jeden pomysł jeszcze do sprawdzenia. Tak. Dobra. Teraz Eco. Nie. To.
No thanks, my friend.
Może tutaj mam... Może 2045. Taki pomysł. Nie jednak. No bo myślałem, że wiecie. Nie wiem jak tam się dostać. Bo popełniono morderstwo o 20:45, dlatego myślałem, że...
You finally returned. Well, did you find the swamp creature? Where is he?
I didn't find him.
What? You're not getting paid to wander about aimlessly, Grimoire. Get back out there.
I don't need.
I don't need to.
Final chapter. Continue.
Why not? I thought he was our prime suspect.
Nie.
Well, not anymore.
Didn't you find photographic evidence of Boggy from last night? Let me see that photo.
Present a clue.
Let me see that photo.
Aha. To?
If that's not Boggy, what is it?
Kostium.
I found designs for the costume in a trash can. Not only that, I collected all the pieces of the costume myself. Well, nearly all of them. There's still the one that...
But the footprints at the scene of the...
Stop! Patrzcie! Boggy ma żółte ciało. Patrzcie, co nosi oficer.
How can you prove these don't belong to a real creature?
Present a clue.
What's this? I thought there were no records of a footprint anywhere.
No public records. The footprints at the crime scene don't match the ones on this page. They were just a product of these slippers. A part of the costume.
But Grimoire, this costume, it doesn't have claws of any kind. How do you explain the 3 wounds on the victim's chest?
Present a clue. Widły.
The prongs match up with the wounds perfectly. The handle's even covered in slime, see?
Ah, but this swamp slime was one of the reasons Boggy became a suspect in the first place. Surely this only incriminates the creature further.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But that slime, it's not exactly what you think.
Ponieważ jest to... to.
This stuff is an uncanny resemblance to the so-called swamp slime. A bunch of it was stolen from the storeroom of the cafe, which reminds me.
What is that exactly?
A poisoned hot dog. It's the second reason that the murderer broke into the storeroom. He put this green powder on the entire supply, just to make sure.
To make sure of what?
To make sure everyone...
To make sure Remington got ill and had to return to his office.
Remington went back to his office? Alone?
Tak. Continue.
I've been looking through your evidence, Grimoire. One piece in particular seems critical to me. I think we need to work out.
Video footage? Vincent Vanderpeer filmed it last night, at the exact moment of the murder, I believe.
Well, exactly. I think we can both agree these sounds in the background. They're essential in our mystery. Could you talk me through them? Just rearrange the descriptions on the left to match the sounds on the right. Drag them around and keep swapping until you're happy with the order. And if you want to hear the sounds again, you can tap on them.
No problem. I can always check my case file if I want to go over my notes.
Dobrze. I przesuwamy tutaj. Remington rips off tutaj. Fabric as hit falls. Fall. Możliwe, że nawet to. Tutaj mamy outcry. Tutaj. Teraz otwierają się drzwi. Krzyczymy. Strzał. Tutaj. Culprit drops the metal poker. Ripping. Okej.
Excellent.
Dobrze.
There's just two small details bothering me. First of all, if Remington ripped off a piece of his curtains, why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it?
Present a clue.
Turns out the murderer took that piece of fabric and concealed it inside the head of the costume. Then he fled the crime scene to hide all the parts in different areas of the swamp.
Ah, well, that's my problem. If Remington fired his rifle, how did the assailants survive and manage to escape? Did Remington miss his target?
At point blank? A man of his experience? I don't think so. In fact, the answer to that question is the very last link in our chain. The one thing that has eluded me so far. I'll drag the clue items from the left onto my drawing here, and we'll see what happens when we compare the pieces I collected with the original design I found.
Tu mamy to. Tu mamy to. No i nasz żółty brzuszek.
Wait, you never found the body piece, the torso.
No właśnie.
You're right, and I never would have found it.
Ponieważ nasz morderca cały czas to ma. Mamy dwie osoby w takich ubraniach. I Cole, no i pan oficer.
Not lying around. Not like the others.
Nie, to jest oficer.
But what does this have to do with the murderer surviving the rifle shot?
This torso is probably made up of some thick material. Something covering the culprit's entire upper body. I believe it may have even been enough to
Soften the impact from a bullet. Aha!
Exactly.
Well, let's put your theory to the test. Where is that last piece of the costume?
Present map location.
Where is that
Nie?
last piece of the
No dobrze.
costume?
To The Protest. No okej.
How? We looked everywhere. Not a single clue.
Simple. He's still wearing it.
No właśnie. Continue.
I don't know what you want with me. Sounds like you two were smart enough to uncover the real criminal in this swamp, and lucky enough to have somebody else deal with him for you. You worked it out. He had his rifle on him. He got half a glance at me and pulled the trigger without hesitation.
But why would he do that? You were dressed as Boggy. He shouldn't be pointing his gun at a unique scientific specimen, not to mention his main attraction.
You're right. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Not unless you're in on the secret.
Zaraz. Richard Remington był tutaj, żeby polować Boggy'ego. I Cole.
Echo was framed
Nie tak.
because Richard Remington was here to hunt Boggy.
Dobra.
Yo.
To może inaczej?
The hunting photo leads
Tak.
me to believe Richard Remington was here to hunt Boggy.
Okej.
A secret society, an order of hunters, seeking out mysterious and elusive creatures.
The order goes further than this one man, and much further than this one swamp.
The whole thing is kind of distressing. I knew something was wrong as soon as I stepped into that office.
I'm glad you've finally come around. It's not just
But what about Remington? He was a member of this order?
He made Boggy his own personal project, his own obsession. For years he hunted the creature, the potential perfect addition to his collection.
But he owned the tourist attraction. He set it up himself, didn't he?
He did. It was just his way of forming a legal loophole. Since the area became protected, he and his friends were unable to come here for hunting anymore. Boggy's Bog was just a front for his own little game. A man pursuing a creature.
A creature that might not even exist.
And that's why Remington kept a rifle nearby at all times?
Well, exactly. He didn't want to take any chances.
Now, don't you see? I did this place a service. Did Boggy a service. That creature, he can live in peace again.
Can he? You tried to frame him for murder. You wanted everyone to think he was some kind of ruthless predator?
Well, think about it. Once he became suspected of murder, they'd have no choice but to shut this whole place down. Everyone would finally realize they had no business here.
You didn't have the right. You shouldn't have your...
Detective,
You. It's...
it's finished. Don't be angry. You should be glad. It's finally time to leave the swamp. You have another job to do.
I don't know.
Not that it makes any difference to somebody like you, but I never intended to kill him. Just to scare him.
W ogóle mam wrażenie, że ta mała dziewczynka to jest jego córka. Może córka jego i wiedźmy?
Convince him Boggy wasn't going to let him live here in peace any longer. But, true to form, he had his rifle on him. You worked out the rest yourself.
It makes a difference.
Well, Mr. Everstone, I'm afraid you'll still have to come with us. Fortunately, there's a police station just a few miles down the...
Hey, wait!
Uciekł. Boggy!
Looks like you solved more than one mystery tonight.
No, moi drodzy, możemy nareszcie powiedzieć, że ten wspaniały tytuł udało nam się skończyć. Ten odcinek wyszedł dłuższy, jednakże było warto. Historia, jaką tu wymyślono, była niesamowita. Aktorzy głosowi gratuluję, bardzo dobrą grę tutaj zagraliście. Naprawdę wspaniale oddane postaci, cudowna historia w bardzo ładnej oprawie graficznej i w ciekawy sposób opowiedzona. Bardzo dużo mieliśmy tutaj do roboty i było to naprawdę niesamowite przeżycie.
Well, what did they decide to do?
We had Mr. Everstone questioned. He was happy to tell us everything he knew. A number of rumors going around the department have been confirmed.
And Remington's office?
Searched down to the last detail. And well, we agree with you, but I know what you're thinking. I'd love to put an end to it, just the same as you. But there's always...
Are we going after them?
We'd better be.
Widzicie, będzie druga część. Bardzo wam dziękuję. Nie za ten odcinek, za całą grę. Jest to pierwsza gra, którą ukończyliśmy na kanale i cieszę się, że udało nam się to zrobić. Naprawdę niesamowity tytuł, wspaniała przygoda. Więc cóż, za ten odcinek wam bardzo dziękuję. I do następnego odcinka z innej gry. Pa.